Hi, my name is Peter. I am a grateful recovering food addict. Very pleased to be here. And today I'm going to share with you my life challenges as a gay man, which was full of fear, doubt, and insecurity. I came from a small village in central Italy, about 2.5 hours east of Rome towards the Adriatic. Here's a picture of it. This is where it all started. The name of it is showing on the screen, Castropignano, Molise, Italy. This is where I was born. And my family immigrated to Canada in 3 separate intervals. My father came first in 1954. My older sister came in 1964. And the rest of us, which was myself, my sister, and my mother, we came in 1964. My older sister came in 1962. And we lived with my grandfather, along with my parents, my mother and my father, and my 2 older sisters, and I had an older brother, which sadly passed away at age 6. And I never met my brother. And the only thing I share with him about him is his name. They named me after him. These are some of my fears, which I grew up with from day one. It was not unusual for me to hide food from my other siblings. I always had more than one portion, always. I do not ever remember ever having one portion of anything. So food was my poison of choice. Fear of disclosure of being gay. Well, I didn't do that until I was age 16, 17 with my parents, and it wasn't directly. It was after being at one of the gay clubs in Toronto called the 511. I know some of you remember that one. It was on Yonge Street, and it was the first time I went to that club, and I came back home at 3:30 in the morning, and my brother-in-law decided to ask me where I was the night before, and there was my chance to tell somebody, because by that point it was bothering me a lot, and I wanted to tell my mother so badly. Fear of acceptance, self-acceptance, I've always had that from day one. I don't know where it came from, but I joined a program later on in my life at age 62 called Food Addicts in Recovery Anonymous, which helped me to overcome the fear of self-acceptance, fear of public speaking, which is what I'm doing today, which would have not been possible had I not joined another program called Toastmasters. Fear of not being good enough or low self-esteem, and most of all, fear of tech. I had a huge fear of tech. I just ran away from all my fears. I wanted to hide from all of them. And fear of making mistakes, perfectionism. I was always beating myself up until I found a program that addresses food addiction, and little did I know that all these fears could be managed, but I couldn't manage them on my own. I could not, but I didn't know that. And I also want to share that my addiction throughout my life was in plain sight, but I couldn't see it. I was blind to it all. I was blind to it all. And I come from a culture that if you're a good eater, you are rewarded with even more. Food appears out of nowhere, just appears out of nowhere. And I had no hesitation. I couldn't say no. When it came to food, I couldn't say no. You know, I could have had one meal and someone came to my office and said, "You want to go out for lunch?" I was ready to go again. I had this, I don't know what it was, until I heard an FA from someone else that they also did not feel full, no matter how much food they ate. I said, "Oh my God, you mean there's someone else on this planet that's just like me?" And from that statement, from that person, I felt hope, a lot of hope. And some of those fears, just before we get to this slide, some of those fears impacted my life. in a significant way as an adult in my professional life, my personal life, in my relationships, and that brings me to when I met Gary. And I met Gary, my partner, who's sitting here in the middle of the room, in this place upstairs at a program called Prime Timers 18 years ago. And we were introduced by another fellow within that program, and really grateful. And we got married in 2013. And really, three things happened in 2013 for me. I retired from my job in March 2013, got married in September 21st, 2013, and came to a food addiction program in November 2013. Big year for me. And this is our picture of when we got married. We got married at Metropolitan United Church, at Queen and Church. And I was a little bit hesitant, a lot more hesitant than Gary was, because Gary had been married before. But I was a little hesitant because gay people do not get married. But that's a big lie. Where is that written? Only in my head. In my journey in Food Addiction and Recovery Anonymous, FA. What is FA? In some of the description, food addiction is a disease of the mind, body, and spirit for which there is no cure. But it can be arrested a day at a time by our adapting to a disciplined way of eating and a 12-step program of FA. When we abuse food by using it as a drug, our lives become unmanageable. Well, I want to tell all of you that this program has saved my life. And it continues to save my life because unlike any other diet, if you want to call it that, it is not a diet. And the difference between this program and a diet is that a diet has a beginning date and an end date. This program has a beginning date, but no end date. We continue, and we weigh and measure our food. Typically, meal plan in this program, in the morning, for example, breakfast that has 8 ounces of yogurt, plain yogurt, 6 ounces of fruit, and 1 ounce of shredded wheat. Very specific. And then some people have coffee, I don't. And then in addition to that, you can have herbal tea. That is the breakfast. For lunch, a typical meal for lunch is 6 ounces of salad with 1 tablespoon of dressing. It's typically not a bottled dressing. Bottled dressing has sugar and flour. This is the program that does away with any flour and sugar products. Any flour and sugar products, we eliminate all those. Then we have 6 ounces of what is typically a protein. It can be a vegetable protein, it can be any meat protein, but only 6 ounces. And 6 ounces of vegetables, preferably not deep fried. It can be grilled, it can be stir fried. And then we have 6 ounces of fruit, again, for lunch, and then a drink, which is typically water, or it can be a warm drink like herbal tea. That's what I do. And then for dinner, you repeat the same thing as you have at lunch. So this program has saved my life, continues to save my life. And we do 3 meetings a week in this program. And right now, it's the meetings have been on Zoom. They're all familiar with Zoom. And I can't tell you how grateful I am today for having found this program and having continued and continuing in it and still have the willingness. I'm never cured. I have a disease that wants to kill me. I have a disease that wants to kill me. And food is the substance that I need to stay alive. Food is a substance, unlike any other substance, we need it to stay alive. And I didn't know where this program was my entire life. I came to this program at age 62. This will picture where I was and where I am today. I didn't lose hundreds of pounds, but some people do. I lost 43 pounds, but it felt like 85 pounds off my body. And when I was that weight that you see on the left, I was at the point where it was very difficult to tie my shoes, very difficult to walk. I can tell you today that if I hadn't lost my weight, I would be walking with a cane, probably a walker. I probably had one of those either hip or knee surgeries. And also what's common in my program, before people find this program, they have those even more invasive surgeries, like gastric bypass. Most of you have heard of that. The lap band, which is another surgery, and probably there are others. And typically people that come to this program have done everything to lose weight and to keep it off. And it just does not happen. And also what's true about this program is that you cannot do it alone. No one can. And I have seen people, and we have people from all walks of life, doctors, lawyers, judges, you name it. When you come to this program, you're just another person that needs help. That's what you are. And I have seen a number of people come in, lose all the weight, they look like a model, they think they got it, they walk out, put all the weight back within 3 or 4 months, and they can't find their way back in because they're full of shame and they don't want to go through the program again. So this is my family here today. And my life has totally changed. I have no problem falling asleep anymore. I have no medication to take. I was taking 4 or 5 medications. I'm only taking a low dose of high blood pressure medication. Some of the other medications I was taking, I was borderline diabetic, just hadn't been diagnosed yet. And I was on, I think it was a antidepressant medication, cholesterol medication, and I'm someone that does not like to take medication. So once I lost all my weight, all the medications disappeared as well, which is true for many other people that come to this program. I am very grateful today, very happy, have a great relationship with my partner. It's not always a bed of roses, but what relationship is. And I'm so grateful to continue to want this program, which has saved my life. And I hope today I have said something that has touched someone in the room, perhaps. All right? And I always have guiding principles each and every day. And today my guiding principles, I've decided to put them on the screen: love, compassion, and service. And they change every day. They change every day. These are things that I never even thought of before coming to this program. And now they roll off my tongue. They just roll off my tongue. I don't know. A lot has changed. A lot has changed in my life. And so grateful for all of you to be here today. Very grateful. Thank you. The question was, do we use the same book as 12 Steps and 12 Traditions? Yes, we do. We use a lot of the material that AA uses. How did I overcome my fears? Okay. Most of my fears are overcame by joining the Food Addicts and Recovery Anonymous and working the program. It's a process. You don't get rid of all your fears. They don't disappear. You work with them every day. I'm sponsoring 3 other people in that same program, and they're going through the same thing. So the way I got rid of my fears is by tackling them head on. For example, I'll give you an example of just one of them. Every time I had to call a bank because something was wrong with my banking, I would immediately, my immediate reaction, even before I picked up the phone, I would say, oh my God, I'm going to do this, this, and this. And by joining the program, I stopped doing that. It was all the negativity in my head that was making me react. And I had no idea that whatever was in food and whatever the amount that I was using about food, the substance of my choice was food, not alcohol or anything else. It was food. This substance, in the amount that I was using it, it was making me behave the same as an alcoholic, basically. And until I learned to weigh and measure it, that's how my fear is diminished. That's how my fear is diminished. They're not gone. They're still there. It's almost like turning a stove off and the pilot light is still on. Same thing. Right from the beginning, I was so desperate about a solution to this, to what I had, to this food business that I had, that I couldn't stop eating. I was determined to just have my food. It was hard. At the beginning, it was very, very hard to go to 3 meals a day from eating whenever I wanted. It was very difficult. This is a program of developing discipline around food. And people that are in this program need that discipline. And that's me. I need boundaries around food. I do not have other people's food. I bring my own food. It's very disciplined, very disciplined. Yes, I came to Canada at age 13 in Toronto, and we came to Canada by ship. So it was a train ride from Halifax to Montreal, changing train in Montreal, and then Toronto. And I remember the first night I landed in Toronto, I had 4 portions of what I ate. I still remember that, 4.
What was it?
I think it was soup. Part of it was soup. It was some kind of chicken, but I had 4 portions, 4 helpings. Still remember that. And the other thing that I do remember on the ship is our ship, the last place it docked was Lisbon, Portugal. After Lisbon, when it hit the Atlantic Ocean, everyone was sick. Every single person in the ship, except me. I was the only one.
You still would eat?
I was the only one in the dining room, guys. with three waiters around me, waiting to take my order. And I'm the only one in my family this way.
You're special.
Yeah. Thank you.
Well, thank you so much, Peter. That was interesting. And there are
Thank you.
some.
Thank you, everyone. Yes. This one now.